Hello and welcome back, everybody, to a new week, a new live stream. Today, of course, we are going to go through the Bitcoin technical analysis. It has been very, very boring over the weekend. So, yeah, I was just away from the computer over the course of the weekend, just enjoying it. So, I hope you all enjoyed your weekend as well. But yeah, for me, it is time to get back to the grind, get back to looking for those next best trade setups, because at this moment in time I am not in a trade on Bitcoin. I am in a trade on another on something else, on an altcoin. But at this moment in time, I am in no trades on Bitcoin. So I am going to be actively looking for trades as I'm not in a trade, like I said. Now, of course, because I'm not in a trade, it doesn't mean to say that I have to be in a trade. No, okay, at this moment in time, I don't see a trade setup. So I don't need to be in a trade. For me right now, okay, the best thing to do is remain patient, wait for the setup to present itself. If the setup presents itself, I will take that trade. I'm not going to FOMO into any trades. I'm not going to rush into any trades, right? We understand that if you do that, okay, and I know this from experience, okay, if you're always wanting to be in a trade, always, FOMOing into a trade, always, you know, looking too hard for a trade, okay, you're most likely going to lose that trade because you're not looking for the best setup possible. Okay, you're just entering into the trade for the sake of entering into a trade. So right now, the best trade is patience. Okay, for me, I always say there's three trades. Okay, there's being in a long trade, being in a short trade, and then there's not being in a trade. And not being in a trade is a trade in itself. Okay, because you're saving yourself from a loss if you are entering into a trade just for the sake of entering into a trade. So for me right now, I am in a trade on Bitcoin, which is not being in a trade, right? So yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, of course, we will go through the analysis. We'll take a look at the trades that I am interested in taking, and yeah, all the scenarios really. So yeah, we will jump straight on into that. But before we do, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Really appreciate it. Helps me out, helps the channel out, and I can continue to bring this content to you. And yeah, if you are new, subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you don't ever miss another live stream. But yeah, let's jump straight on into the charts and see what is going on. So we will start off with the lower time frames, and as you can see, it's just very, very flat, right? Very, very boring. This Monday has been very boring, right? We're seeing a bit of a move towards the upside here, but over the course of the weekend, as you can see, just such constricted price action. Then we got to Sunday afternoon. Okay, we started to see price, breathing a little bit more, right? Of course, the volatility has, I wouldn't say full volatility, but some volatility has stepped back into the market, and you can clearly see it here. But yeah, it's just been a very, very boring Monday, right? Just a very boring Monday. Even if I was looking to take like a day trade today, I just don't even see a setup, to be honest with you, for a day trade. I mean, we could be looking at this as like some sort of range, right? But, I'm not too interested in this. I'm just not too interested in trading this range because it's just such low volatility, right? Um, and you can see, right? We've got range low, we've got range high. In between that, still been ranging, right? But we've been in more of an even more constricted range. Um, so yeah, for me, it's just these aren't interesting levels at this moment in time. For the interesting levels, we kind of need to zoom out. And if we zoom out enough, let's go to the 4 hour. We can see, right, we have a nice range coming in here. We do have a nice range, but we're at the mid range, right? We're at the mid range. The short would have been from up here, right? The short would have been from up there. I didn't take the short because the move happened so quickly, right? We came up to $72,069 approximately. Okay, and then literally after tapping that level, in a matter of a second or 2 seconds, we saw a huge pullback. And for me, it was just a little bit too quick. I didn't have the, I consider myself like able to enter into trades pretty quickly because I've done it so many times, but that's just too quick for me, right? That's way too quick for me. So, I didn't enter into that short trade. As you can see, if I did manage to get a short trade up here, it would be in some nice profits right now. It would be at the mid range, okay, and of course, that would be a TP1 for the short trade. So let's just draw it out. So it would look, something like this, right? You would have your stop loss above the high, nice tight stop loss. You were looking for a TP1 around the mid-range, right? And then if we lost the mid-range of the channel, okay, then we're looking for range low. Now, if we do lose the mid-range of the parallel channel here, does it mean I will enter into a short? No, okay, I won't, right? I understand that I've missed this short trade now. Okay, I missed the short trade, so I'm not going to take that short trade. I'm going to wait for the next best possible trade setup. And if that is the case, right, that we do come down to range low, perfect, right? I can look for a long at range low, right? That's where I would be looking for sort of that first long trade, right, at around $66,000. Okay, that would be where my first long trade would be coming in. Of course, I'd have to see the bullish reaction, bullish confluence, bullish confirmation down there to enter into that long trade. If I don't see any of that, of course, I won't enter into the trade and I will look for lower prices. But that's something that I would be looking to trade, right? Remember, not last week. Well, last week, we had quite a nice range, but the week before, right, that was actually on the lower time frames. But it was down here. Okay, the week before last, right, we're in a beautiful, beautiful range, like just perfect range, right? And we, took 4 trades. There were 5 trades, but we only took 4 of them, and all 4 of them were winning trades, right? And this is how amazing range trading can be. And then we actually got a range break towards the upside, and I decided against shorting, right? So I could have taken a short, but it would have been a loss, right? So it still would have been 4 trades, 4 winning trades, 1 losing trades. But when we got the breakup, I realized, okay, this isn't actually looking bearish here for me. So, I'm not going to enter into the trade. I didn't enter into the trade, and that was the right decision because we saw a continuation towards the upside, right? Where last week we did see some range bound price action as well. Okay, we took a trade on in that range bound price action. Then we were looking for this short. I was actively looking for this short trade, but it just happened too quick for me to enter into it, unfortunately. So I didn't manage to get that, and we literally came up to $72,069, and we went above it by like a couple dollars, literally like $2-3, and then we saw a huge pullback. So there must have been a lot of a lot of liquidity set up here. So for me, it's just looking at this range, right? I understand that range trading has worked really well for me over the past 2 years. Range trading has just worked amazingly, but especially over the last 2 weeks, right? Last week, range bound price action, amazing. Okay. The week before that, range bound price action, just amazing to trade. Okay. So range bound price action at this moment in time, it is just really good price action to be trading. So if we are going to come back down to range low, the long trade for me is looking really nice, right? Of course, I want to see what I need to see here. Okay, of course, I need to look for all the confirmations, the reaction, the confluence there. If I get that, right, then I'm happy to enter into a long trade. I also really like So that's the VWAP from this low here, but there is another VWAP. This one here. Let's move it to the top. Okay, so we have the VWAP from the low. This was the failed auction of the range, right? Remember, I long this as well. So yeah, it was from the failed auction, right? The low of the failed auction. We have this VWAP coming in. I mean, it's been. Yeah, we failed auctioned it, failed auctioned it, perfect support there. So, I mean, it has been respected. Um, it's not like we're trading through the level. Okay, we always have to view a level like this as more of a zone. Okay, we always have to view a level like this more of a zone because we understand that a level's never always going to be respected to the dollar. And what you can look for here is just a simple failed auction. Okay, literally a simple failed auction of a level, right? Where price breaks below it, you then see lots of shorts opening up. Okay, this is retail traders or retail traders who think like retail traders. This is where they're shorting a breakdown, and then what happens is as price starts to see a small rise towards the upside because there's not enough selling pressure in the markets, all right? So price starts to consolidate or starts to rise, okay? Then a lot of these short trades, of course, will be underwater if they shorted at the low, right? And those will start to cover, meaning they buy back into the market. And as the price pushes higher, right, all the shorts higher up in the candle, okay, will do the exact same thing. They'll cover, 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 cover. And then, that's when you get the bigger move towards the upside. So for me, even looking at this VWAP, and you can look at this, right? And a lot of people will look at this and say, okay, this hasn't been respected, right? For me, this is still respecting a level. When we don't respect a level, right? Let's just say, for example, and I mean, when you don't respect a level, you can kind of still respect it. But let's say this is the VWAP here. Okay, let's just say that's kind of the VWAP there, right? We understand that, yes, we're going to see some touches of it. There isn't really much respect there, right? This is just an example, right? There is a bit of respect there. You could argue that's a bit of respect there. So you can look at this, but here you're trading like through the level. Okay, you're trading through the level, and it's a little bit more difficult to trade something like this, right? It is a little bit more difficult in this scenario. Okay, if you have a VWAP that is going through all of price action, okay, then you're looking for something else, right? Then you're looking for, okay, let's look, for example, this was a short trade that I took up here, right? And this is just an example. Like we have no VWAP here. I'm just using it as an example, okay? In this instance, right, you would be looking at this and be saying, okay, we're above VWAP. What has previously happened is when we are above, we see price pull back below. When we're below, we see price pull back above. When we're above, we go back below. When we're below, we go back above. Okay, so in this instance, right, we're not using the VWAP as confluence to enter into a trade. We're using it as an understanding that, okay, if price is above this, there's a high chance that we are going to come back, test it, and possibly even break below it. So I can look for a short trade up here. Exactly the same as if we are below this VWAP, right? Then I can be looking for long trades down here. So when we're trading through a level like that, you have to view it slightly differently. But looking at this, I'm happy with this, and I'm happy to say that we are respecting this. It's just a simple failed auction, right? And then we failed auction, broke up, right? Failed auction, move up, right? We broke back down below it. Okay, failed auction, back above it, right? And then we back tested at support and then got the big move towards the upside. So I'd say this is pretty well respected. And this VWAP is coming in confluence at this moment in time with the range low, okay, with the range low here. So if price does come down here, I have strong conviction for looking for a long trade at this moment in time. Of course, as time goes on, we could start to see VWAP rise, and then if we start to see price pull back a little bit more, then I'll be looking for more of like a failed auction of it rather than respecting it to the dollar. But I understand, right? It's still a possibility that even if we see the VWAP move a little bit away, right, what I can be doing, okay, and this is how I view entering into trades. When I see the confluence there, but it's not aligning as I would like it to, okay, then I could enter into a little bit of a add a little bit of capital into the trade here, right? And then if we get the failed auction of the VWAP as well, right, then I can be adding into a little bit more here. Okay, I could adding some more into the trade. Okay, and then we hopefully get the move towards the upside, right? So that's how I can be viewing it. But it all depends on how quick price gets down there, and if price even does get down there as well. If price slowly kind of moves down, okay, then we'll probably see the VWAP, sort of flatten off here and then slowly tick towards the downside. So we could kind of meet it there, right? We could kind of meet it there. If price just continues around here, the VWAP is most likely going to continue up higher and then slowly taper off as well. And that's when I'm looking at this VWAP as, not something that I want to use in this trade, right? I'll have to look for other bits of confluence. And of course, I will always look for order flow down here at a range low. But yeah, at this moment in time, I kind of like how this setup could play out, right? Of course, I will still look at order flow on this and see what price is actually doing down there. So that's kind of like one scenario that I have. Of course, I'm still happy to look for a short trade up here. All right. If I see what I want to see up here, I'm still happy to short 72,000. I think that this here, this harsh rejection off of the level has given me some confidence that if I do see a setup here, I will be happy to take it. And it's, there's two ways that you can look at this, right? There's always two ways that you can look at things. And for me, right, if we have a bit of resistance, right, the more times you tap a resistance, okay, you would expect to break through the level, okay? The more times that you tap the level, okay, you would expect, right? But then you're looking at this kind of, because it is a slight higher high, right? It's only a very slight higher high, I know, but you can be looking at this as like a triple top, or you can be looking, I like to call triple tops. I look at more like a three drives pattern, right? Where you get a nice drive up, okay, making the first high, bit of a corrective price action, another third drive up, okay, corrective price action, right, and then a second drive up, right, and then a corrective price action, and then that third drive up there, right, you get a three drives pattern there, and of course, I'm not just going to trade a three drives pattern. I'll be looking for more confluence, okay, I'll be looking for more confluence. That can be a swing value pattern, a failed auction, okay, and then, of course, I want to look at the real-time data in the order flow as well. If I see what I want to see up here, I will take the short. I understand, right? Yes, we can tap levels, more than like 3 times, and that's when I'm considering, okay, if we're going to tap it again, there's probably a higher chance that we break through it. But on the third tap of a level, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, okay, I understand how three drives patterns play out, right? They play out a lot of the time as well. So I'm going to be prepared for this. Of course, I'm not expecting a three drives pattern. I'm just making myself aware of it, right? Because again, it's kind of like a bit of a basic tool, right? With basic tools, you don't really trade off of them. You're just aware of them, okay? Like a head and shoulders pattern, like I'm not really aware of head and shoulders patterns, to be honest with you, but like a triangle pattern, right? I don't trade them. I'm just aware of them, right? And I understand, okay, that, like I'm aware of a triangle. We get a fake out. I'm looking for a short, right? If I see, for example, let's just put. I like to pull up examples, right? So let's just say we've got a triangle here. This, for those retail traders, actually did play out for once. But say that none of this price action happened here. Okay, I could probably just go to an exact example of it, to be honest with you. This was the triangle that I was looking at here. Yeah, not perfect, but it was something like this, right? And I understand. Okay, we're getting a breakout of a triangle here. So my thesis is that a lot of retail traders are longing this, right? A lot of retails are longing this. Retail traders are longing this. For the confirmation, what do? I go into the order flow and I take a look at it, right? I take a look at it. I can't look at it anymore because, yeah, the XO chart data doesn't go back that far. But I remember I looked at it a few streams ago, and what was it? It was 85 million new long trades came in this candle alone, right? Then what happened? Okay, we formed the failed auction or the fake out, right? And then we saw a big move towards the downside, right? I was aware of this triangle. I was talking about this triangle to the team in the Discord, right, on the daily market updates. And I was saying, right, I'm kind of expecting a failed auction here. That's what I'm looking to trade. So I saw the swing failure pattern of the high in confluence with the weekly naked point of control, because we did have a weekly naked point of control at 71,970, right? And yeah, that was a short for me. I didn't enter into the short trade off of a triangle. I was just aware that retail traders are longing this break towards the upside because we're getting a breakout of a triangle, right? So yeah, the expectation is, right? The expectation is that we do see a pullback if price does form failed auction, swing failure pattern, because 85 million long trades would be underwater. Okay, so that's how. Of course, it's slightly different at this moment in time, right? Because we're not looking at a triangle. We're looking at more of a three drives pattern. But I'm thinking of it in that way, right? This is more of like a retail trader pattern, like a three. Again, right? It's classed as like a triple top, right? It's classed as like a triple top, but I like to look at it more of like a three drives pattern, right? But I understand that a lot of retail traders will be looking at it as a triple top, possibly. Okay, but then I'm also aware that the majority of retail traders are actually probably going to be looking to long this, right? If we do form or break towards the upside, right? They're probably going to be looking to long this, right? And that's when I would be looking for that three drives pattern to play out. But I wouldn't be shorting the three drives pattern. I'll be shorting maybe some sort of failed auction, swing failure pattern of the range high, right? I'm just aware that a three drives, it could end in like a three drives pattern, right? So yeah, that's another trade that I'm looking for, right? So we have the range low, the long from range low. I'm happy to look for the short from range high still, right? I'm happy to look for the short. Of course, I will want to see what's going on within the order flow. Okay, so I will want to take a look at the order flow, see what is going on. At this moment in time, we have some longs kicking into the market at this moment in time, but yeah, nothing really that major, to be honest with you. It's just a bit very boring, to be honest with you. But yeah, I guess it's just patience, right? Like I said, not being in a trade is a trade in itself, right? So it's patience. I'm waiting for my levels. I'm looking to trade this range, right? This is a range that I'm looking to trade. If I don't see anything here, okay, if I don't get a short trade set up from 72,000, or I don't get a long trade set up from 66,000, right, then again, I'm just zooming out. I'm looking at this 8 hour. Okay, we can pull the 8 hour analysis back up, right? And I could, literally just be looking at higher prices, right? If we don't get the short set up at 72,000, right, I could be looking at this high here, right? So this was actually the high that I shorted all the way back here. Let's get there. So we've got 72,874, and we do have confluence there. We do have the naked point of control at 73,475. But if we're coming up there, I'm just kind of feeling that all-time high is more probable, to be honest with you. I understand. Okay, we front run all-time high here. And if I see what I want to see up here, again, right, well, remember we had like 85 million new long trades coming in there. So if I do see price coming up here, and we just swing failure pattern or failed auction 72,900, let's call it, right? 72,900. And, a bonus, we take out the naked point of control, but we still front run the all time high. And I see millions, like millions of longs opening up here. And then we see, of course, like swing failure pattern, the failed auction, whatever. Then I will short this, right? Because I understand that we have a huge amount of long trades coming in here. Retail traders expecting all-time high, expecting a break of all-time high, expecting 200K, right? So they're going long with everything they have. And that's kind of what happened here, right? And we understand that 85 million long trades there who were anticipating all-time high, anticipating a break of all-time high, anticipating 100K, got completely wrecked, right? And we took full advantage of this because we were aware of that, right? We were aware that 85 million shorts were longs were trapped up there, right? So they would have to cover, meaning that they have to sell back into the market, pushing that price much, much lower, right? So that's what I understood there. And this is what I'm aware of here. If I see the same thing, what's the point of ignoring it, right? What's the point of ignoring, possibly like 80 million long trades coming in here who are underwater and who are most likely going to have to recover, right? I'm literally just going to rinse and repeat what I did last time. If I see the setup, I will take the setup, right? Very, very simple. But of course, I need to wait and I need to be patient. I need to wait for the level, and then I need to wait and see what the reaction is looking like, okay? If there's a huge amount of long trades coming in here and prices continuing to rise, then there's no reason to enter into a short trade, right? There's no reason. But if there's a huge amount of long trades coming in here and then price starts to pull back a little bit, right? And then we start to see some confirmation for entering into a short, then there's no reason to not take the short, okay? In my head, right? This is how my head works, right? If I see an incredible amount of long trades here and the price starts to pull back, then these long trades are all underwater. They've got to cover. They have to sell back into the market, pushing the price lower. Okay, so yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, really, all-time high is kind of that next target that I have. Of course, I'm interested in trading this, right? This range that we have here, but if we break out of the range or we don't respect the range, right? Yeah, then it's just kind of all-time high, really. But again, being aware that we could front run all-time high like we did here, we get the trap traders and we get the big pullback, right? So I will be aware of that. But, kind of just all-time high, really, all-time high, that zone, right? I don't really see. I'll take a look at the order flow because this morning the order flow was looking a little bit bearish, right? I mean, on the 4-hour, we had a bullish CVD div, so we could still see that play out. It was on the lower time frames here, yeah. So we're seeing bearish CVD on the lower time frames here, and all this can really just give me is that maybe we'll see more range bound price action. Yeah, possibly. I'm just not really interested in trading this range here on the lower time frame. And I'm not. It's just too confined for me. It's just a little bit too confined. I would like to see something that has a little bit more room to breathe. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not really too interested in trading that mini range. It's too small for me. There's not enough. There's not enough room for it to breathe. I've just seen in the chat. No positions trapped, no trade. or do you still consider a big flush in open interest? So I look at it in two ways, right? I look at it in two ways. Okay, so we can, of course, right, like we had back here, right, we can see all of the long trades trapped up here, right? We can see the swing failure pattern or the failed auction, whatever, and we have all the long trades trapped here. Okay, for me, that's a short trade in itself, but also I would consider, right, a weak move up, swing failure, failed auction as a trade in itself as well, right? I'd consider that as a trade in itself as well, because the expectation when you get a weak rise towards the upside, it is followed up by a weak move, a strong move towards the downside. Like a weak move towards the downside is followed up by a strong move towards the upside. That's kind of what we tend to see. Of course, not all of the time, but the majority of the time, that's what we kind of see. So, how I view it, right, is that 85 million new long trades coming in here is very bullish, right? That is very bullish, but it can shift bearish very quickly, right? Very quickly. So, yeah, we don't have to see all of the long trades coming in at the high, right? We don't have to see it. I'd prefer to see it because I prefer to enter into a trade that way. But yeah, initially, right, this is bullish. Okay, this was bullish, 85 million longs opening up, but we didn't get the follow through. Okay, and that's what you need. You need the follow through to keep, or for it to remain bullish, right? But what happened is, we formed the swing failure pattern, we formed the failed auction, price pulls back, okay, and that gets very bearish. Okay, so yeah, initially that's bullish and it gets bearish, but what is bearish, right, is just like simply bearish. Okay, is if we get a weak rise up, swing failure pattern, failed auction, because then we can look for a strong move down. And I could probably find an example of this, to be honest with you. Let's zoom out. There'll be tons of examples, but I want to find like a nice clear one. So yeah, here, right? This example here, we have a weak move up, right? So you can see open interest as price is getting this impulsive move up, right, is weak. Okay, this is very weak, a weak move towards the upside here. So what we know is that, shorts are probably getting liquidated. Shorts are covering here. We're getting a nice rise towards the upside. Well, I say a nice rise. We're getting a weak rise towards the upside. And then price starts to pull back up here. I don't know whether... No, it wasn't like... There was no clear trade entry unless... I have a feeling this was when we front run the short trade that I was looking for. Yeah. This is when I was looking for a GP786, and we front run it. So that was one of the shorts that we unfortunately missed. But I think we were in a long trade before that, though. But yeah, then it's followed up, right? So you've got a weak move, open interest decreasing, weak move towards the upside, followed by a strong move down, right? Because you can see open interest is increasing over time on that move down, right? So this is what we can kind of see. So again, here, right, you have big move down here, right? That's a weak move towards the downside, followed by a pretty strong move towards the upside, because you can see the open interest has been increasing here, right? Then again, right, this move towards the downside is a weak move towards the downside. Open interest is decreasing, right? You can see where the move down started, right, over here, and then you can see where it kind of ended around here. So open interest was decreasing, and then as you can see, you have a strong move up because open interest is increasing here. So that's kind of how I would be viewing it if we don't get a huge amount of longs coming in right up here. But the thing is, because it's all-time high and because I know how retail traders trade, I would just expect an incredible amount of longs coming in here. I think I've talked about this before. And it's like, we may not see 85 million new long trades coming in here, because maybe these 85 million people that longed up here have realized that, longing there is not a good idea. Okay. Or, what most retail traders will do is they'll fall for the same stupid mistakes, right? Longing into all time high. Very, very silly mistake. Okay. That's what 85 million people did here, and 85 million shorts just got completely wrecked. So, I mean, I would be expecting like a huge amount of longs coming into all time high. I just would expect it, right? Um, Yeah, you just know how stupid retail traders can be sometimes, and it was what I was like, right? A few years ago, when I first got into trading, I was stupid. I would be the one that would be longing into all time high. Okay, yeah, I understand how stupid retail traders can be because I was once a stupid retail trader. Um, and it's not to call all retail traders stupid, but it's like stupid money, isn't it? Right? You don't really know what you're doing. Okay, longing into all time high, it's not something I'd ever do at all. And again, 85 million people did it here. 85 million people got wrecked. Right? So again, it happens so many times, right, where we just see retail traders just opening some absurd long trades into the all-time high. It just happens a lot of the time. So I just really wouldn't be surprised if we did see a huge amount of longs coming in here. I really wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, I'm not really. And let's look at this move towards the upside here, right? Let's just have a look at that move up, and let's see. So I mean, this move up since the failed auction that I longed down here, right, has been a really good move towards the upside. You can see open interest is just increasing, 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 increasing. Right, this has been a really good move towards the upside in my eyes. And look at all of that absorption that you're looking at as well. Every single pullback that we've got, pretty much every single pullback that we've got has just literally been absorbed. This is still very bullish in my eyes. The rise is good, so yeah, I would expect an incredible amount of longs coming in at the all-time high. That's just what I would expect. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I kind of just expect longs coming in at the all-time high. I just know how stupid retail traders can be sometimes. So I'm just trying to think of other scenario, but yeah, that's just like the most realistic scenario that I can give really. Getting a bit of a move up here, nothing exciting whatsoever. This has just been a very, very boring Monday. We can take a quick look at AVAX. So I have actually entered into a long trade on Avalanche on AVAX. Um, Now I've only entered into this trade with like very low capital. Like it's a very low capital trade because this for me is an aggressive entry. So I told the team, of course, when I entered into this trade, which was yesterday at 5:42. That was the trade that I entered into, and yeah, it's just yeah, lots of. I like it down here, right? I can't pull up ExoChart desktop because yeah, it takes way too long, and I don't want it to mess up the stream. But yeah, we have huge absorption. Okay, we have huge short absorption into this GP786. We are of course, now below value area low. We are now below the range low of this ascending parallel channel that we are in. And yeah, this is all looking pretty good for me at this moment in time. Again, this is only a very light entry for me because this is considered fairly aggressive. Because for me, really, the best entry would be a failed auction of the VWAP in confluence with that range low. So this is where I would be looking to add to the trade. So here I've entered into, yeah, I'll be transparent. I put $200 on the line, 22x leverage, I think, and I have no stop loss. My liquidation is my stop loss. Right? If I get liquidated on this trade, $200 for me, I don't. I'm not worried about losing $200. Right? That's for me. That's still good risk management. Okay, I understand that. Oh my god, I'll get liquidated, right? But what? I'm getting liquidated for $200. Yeah, it's not. I'm not worried about $200, right? Yeah, you can take a look at some of the losses that I've taken over the past few weeks, right? You've got $500 here, $761 there. So yeah, actually, $200 loss is kind of in my eyes, is kind of a small loss for me, right? And yeah, I just like I showed this on the other live stream. I think it was on Friday. Yeah, this is just this is just the last what was it? Yeah, last month of trading. And you can see, right, the green is outweighing the red. And this is, the goal, right? The goal is to win the majority of your trades, but also win the majority of your trades by a nice amount as well. You can see that my biggest loss was $761, but then you can see $1,000, 800, 4,200, 4,600, 5,000 here. That was a very, very big win, but yeah, I added a lot to that trade. But yeah, you can see, I don't take trades like this that often at all. But yeah, you can see that my biggest loss is pretty minor in comparison to the nice wins that I've taken as well. So it's all about risk management, and for me, I like to think that I use leverage in the best way possible. I will enter into trades with lower capital, for example, $200, and my stop loss a lot of the time is kind of literally just my liquidation, right? Because I'm putting an amount of money on the line that I'm willing to risk, right? I will never enter into a trade that if I take a loss on it, I will be emotionally affected. And that's how you get over the emotional side of things within trading. It's very simple, right? But it's very hard at the same time, right? It's hard because, of course, you want to, be making good money. Like instantly, right? You want to be making good money instantly. You want to become profitable instantly, but it's not the reality of it. The reality of it is that you are going to go through. Especially in the start of your journey, you are going to go through more losses than more wins, right? That's exactly what I went through. Okay, I went through a lot more losses than wins. But then what really, there was a load of factors to it, right? There was a load of factors, right? In terms of like how I traded, what I traded, and yeah, the amounts that I traded with. So there was loads of factors, and there was probably many more that I've missed out as well. But there were many more. There's loads of factors to becoming a consistently profitable trader. There is loads of factors. One of the factors, though, is your risk management, right? That's a very key one as well, right? That is a very, very key one. And for me, and I found it very difficult to get to the stage, but I got there, right? And it was difficult to get to the stage because you're constantly fighting against yourself. But the stage that you need to get to is putting money on a trade that you just do not give a shit about, right? Literally just do not give a shit about. Go to the bank, pull out however much money you think is kind of worthless to you, right? You don't care if you just dropped it, okay? And then just get some matches, get a lighter, and just burn it, right? If you feel a bit upset about that money, then then that's too much money to risk, right? So if you're taking out $50 from the bank, right, and you burn it, okay, and you get a bit emotional about it, you're like, oh, I just lost $50 there. Why did I do that? Then that's too much money for you to risk, right? But if you put out, let's say, $20, right, and you set that on fire, burns up, and you're like, oh, it's only $20, then that's how much you should risk in a trade, okay? And that's how I know you're only risking a very small amount. You're not going to get these huge wins, but that's where I started as well, right? I started with trading with a lot of money, lost it all, right? And then I started trading with a lot of money again, lost it all, right? And then I started trading with very small amounts of money, okay? And then, I was still taking some losses here and there, but I wasn't really fussed about the losses, right? I wasn't really fussed about them because I just wasn't really losing as much as I previously had. And then over time, as you grow as a trader, um, you know, you become more consistently profitable. Not profitable yet, but like more consistently profitable. Then your account is going to sort of stay kind of like that break even. Like maybe it'll be above break even sometimes, maybe it'll be below break even sometimes, but it'll sort of hover around that level. Um, and then as you sort of like hit the nail on the head, you know the setups that you prefer to trade, the risk management strategies that you implement, right? You know how much you want to risk in a trade, all of the factors, right? Once you fully understand all of them and you've tried and tested them, okay, and you're confident with them, and you can see the results as well, your account will slowly grow, right? Your account will slowly grow, and maybe, okay, this is something that happened with me, right? I saw my account slowly growing, okay, and I thought, okay, right, I'm happy now to risk a little bit more. In some cases, right, you may not want to risk anymore. You may just want to continue that slow growth, which over time will build up to some really nice growth, okay? Or like I did, right, I didn't go all in like I did when I first started, right? I just put a little bit more into the account, okay? And I thought, okay, right, I've been doing really well recently, right? I've been more consistently well, I have been consistently profitable, taking a loss here and there, okay? But I understand that's acceptable. And yeah, it's just literally making sure that you don't over leverage yourself, or you over you don't, of course, I don't say over leverage, to be honest with you, because yeah, I use an absurd amount of leverage, but I use lower capital. So you don't over invest into a trade, right? As long as you don't over invest into a trade, then you're going to be good. It's just that risk management, and getting to that point is very, very difficult. I blew 2 accounts, and there was a lot of money on those accounts before I came to the realization that I need to trade with a smaller amount of capital, a much smaller amount of capital. And then over time, once I gained that confidence, once I had the proof, right, once I always like to go back over previous trades, and here this is the previous trades I've taken over the past month and bit, yeah, around a month. And I can see, right, I'm confident in my trades, right? I'm confident in my trades because I have been consistently profitable. I have been consistently making money. Okay, so you're not right. You shouldn't be over investing into trades unless you see something like this in your portfolio, right? Where there is much more green than red, okay, and much more higher green numbers than higher red numbers, okay. And that's exactly, why I wanted to show this, right? Until you see this, whether you trade with a very small account, right, a very small account that you don't care about, or whether you paper trade, right, until you see that, you do not you do not over invest into trades, right? You do not ever over invest into trade. Even myself, right? I do not over invest into trades. Even though I look at this, right? I look at this and I think, okay, this is really good. My 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 trading is going really, really well at this moment in time. Okay. But I never ever think, oh, let's just whack a load more capital into it. Right. Let's like whack a load more capital into it and try and make as much money as possible. Right. I'm not thinking about that, right? Because that's when I will get wrecked. And I understand I will get wrecked. Right. I'm thinking, okay, let's stay like this. Let's stay consistent. Okay. Let's get these small wins. Okay. These small wins over time will turn into big wins, right? And of course, like every trade that I take as well, every winning trade that I take as well, and every week, every month, okay, every year, my portfolio is increasing anyway because I understand that I am consistently profitable, right? So my my trading account, my trading portfolio is consistently like increasing over time as well. So naturally, you will just start to make more money on trades because I like to enter into with a percentage of my account. I never look at dollar amounts when I'm entering into a trade, because what's on my trading portfolio is um, what I'm willing to risk, right? And what I do is of course, I have an understanding of how much I'm putting into the trade, but I like to do it with like percentage wise. So, maybe I'll put if it's a low capital trade, maybe I'll put like 4% into the trade of the trading portfolio, right? Maybe I'll put 4%. But remember, right, this is like only a portion um, of my portfolio, right? Because it's my trading portfolio. But maybe I'll put like 4% onto a trade if it's a low capital entry. If it's like more of a mid capital entry, maybe I'll put 7, 8%. Okay. And then if it's like a really A+ setup, top of the tier list, top of the ranking list, I'll put maybe like 10, 15% of the portfolio in, right? And I always have a lot left in my portfolio because I understand that, there's going to be other trades that I want to take. Maybe I've entered into a long, but then I want to short up higher, okay? But I still want to be in that long trade, right? Maybe I want to enter into a trade on Ethereum. So I want to be in a long trade and then price rises. Take profit off of that, leave a little bit left in there, and then I enter into a short trade, right? Maybe I want to have a number of trades open at a time. So I always make sure that I still have capital to enter into trades, right? But yeah, it's just ensuring, right, that you're not over. We're getting a bit of a bigger move towards the upside here. Sorry, I did miss that. But yeah, just make sure that you're not over exposing yourself, right? Overexposing yourself is just the worst thing that you can do. Trade with an amount that you're willing to risk, right? And once you're happy, once you see consistent returns, consistent profitability over, 4, 5, 6 months, right? Then okay, then you have, um, then you have the confidence, right? And how to say it, you have the right to enter into trades with higher capital, but of course, again, not over exposing yourself, okay? Not over expose, just an amount that you're willing to risk in that trade. Let's just have a look at order flow quickly here. So this is looking like shorts getting wrecked up here. Shorts getting liquidated. And I mean, okay, this is again what I was looking at. Is that even? No. Oh, so I mean, yeah, I can be viewing this as a range, right? I'm aware I can kind of view this as a range. And we're getting a swing failure pattern of range high. I'm just not. Maybe I'll take a bit of a short off of it. I don't know. I'm just not really interested in trading this because it's just so constricted. I'm just going to nip to the toilet quick. But I mean, I'll monitor what's going on here, but I'm not too. It's just so constricted. I'm not too interested in trading it. Yeah, I mean, look at not last week, but the week before, right? When I was trading this range here. Yeah, that for me was constricted price action. That was pretty low volatility price action. And then you just look at where we are now. Look at that range. Even last week, that was a small range as well. And just look at where we are now. We're just even more constricted, right? Just not really that interested in trading it, I don't think. Doesn't look like we'll swing failure. So maybe we could see a failed auction of it. But then it's like, one thing I do want to be aware of, though, is this quick. No, okay. Yeah, I'm not really too interested in this. I'm just not. I mean, yeah, for any day traders or scalp traders, right? This could be like a nice entry. And there's a possibility it will play out. I'm just not really interested in trading it. I'm just not that interested in it. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out, right? We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, right? It's just I've got my bigger levels, right? I've got my orders set at my bigger levels. So yeah, I'm just kind of waiting patiently for the highest probability trade setups. In my eyes, that's not a high probability trade setup. So yeah. Anyway, I'll probably leave it there. I've been live for yeah, how long? An hour now. So yeah, I'll probably just leave it there. I'm gonna go and get on with some more work I need to get on with. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. It has been a little bit boring, I know, but yeah, price isn't doing anything. So yeah, of course, if you enjoyed, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. As always, if you're new, subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you never miss another upload. And yeah, of course, if you want access to the Discord where I give all the trades I take away, then yeah, click the first link in the description. It'll take you over to this page here. Of course, we have the education for you there as well, and then the Exo chart templates as well. So yeah, if you want access to all of that, first link in the description. But yeah, other than that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see any visionary members in the Discord, and of course for the daily market update tomorrow morning. And yeah, if not, I will see you for the live stream tomorrow afternoon. So thank you very much for watching, everybody.